welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Vaishali Kohli. Now, the death toll in the Mysuru cylinder blast incident has risen to 3, with 2 more victims succumbing to their injuries. A 45-year-old tourist from Kamakshi Palaya in Bengaluru, identified as Lakshmi, and a flower vendor, Manjula, 26, are the latest victims of the blast that occurred on Thursday evening near the Jai Marthanda gate of the historic Amba Vilas Palace, where a cylinder used to fill balloons exploded. I have Belly Thomas joining me with more details. Belly, what more can you tell us? All right, we'll try and reconnect with my colleague Belly, but of course, viewers, we're telling you about this big story here. Now, the death toll in the Mysuru cylinder blast incident has now risen to 3, with 2 more victims succumbing to their injuries. A 45-year-old tourist from Kamakshi Palaya in Bengaluru, identified as Lakshmi, and a flower vendor, Manjula, 26, are the latest victims of the blast that occurred on Thursday evening. I have Belly Thomas joining me with more details. Belly, what more can you tell us?
Vaishali, the helium cylinder blast that happened at the Mysuru Palace gate on the Christmas night, the death toll has risen to 3, with 2 more women succumbing to injuries. One was Manjula, and the other one was identified as Lakshmi, who is a resident of Kamakshi Palaya in Bengaluru and wife of an auto driver who sustained severe and critical injuries to her abdomen. And even despite treatment efforts that continued at the intensive care unit, she succumbed to her injuries on Saturday. Lakshmi died on Saturday, while Manjula died on Friday itself. So bringing the death toll to 3, including the balloon seller Salim, a native of Uttar Pradesh, who had come to Mysuru for a living, and he was the one who was having the cylinder, the helium cylinder tied to his vehicle, with which he was inflating balloons, and he was selling it to the tourists there. So the incident happened at around 8:30 during the eve of Christmas, and subsequently, one person, the balloon seller identified as Salim, had died, and 4 others were taken to hospital for critical injuries. And among the 4, 2 of them, Manjula and Lakshmi, has succumbed to injuries, bringing the death toll to 3. Now, the NIA has also entered into the probing, and they are also investigating into angles as to how the helium cylinder has been procured, and actually what exactly caused the accidents. And investigations are continuing in that angle as well, alongside the police authorities who have filed a case locally and are investigating the case.
You know, Belly, this was considered to be an accidental blast, but was that really the case? Were there no security latches on it? Has there been some kind of, precautions that were not taken?
Vaishali, there are angles of sabotage also being probed into this particular incident. While the main, the prominent cause of this explosion is found to be negligence, and these are not licensed filling centers who are authorized to fill in, and use of such gases. We happen to hear cases of helium balloon blasts, balloon blasts during birthday celebrations and other celebratory functions or occasions as well. So there is a kind of regulations in which the helium gas has to be commercially sold, and there are also regulations as to be how the outlets can fill in cylinders with helium. So the police are at present probing into all the angles involving these, because a balloon seller of that kind, who would be selling balloons for a paltry sum of money, won't be so won't go for an expensive a cylinder from a government authorized or a certified agency that would be selling him the cylinder. So he would obviously take it from a cheaper outlet where he is being given the cylinder which is filled with helium in a cheaper way, in a cheaper mode with for a cheaper rate. So all these things put together are being probed by the police, and whether there is any intention of causing sabotage or kind of having negligence towards the ensuring public safety. All those factors also would come into the picture when the entire probe is being carried out. So the balloon seller, identified as Salim from Uttar Pradesh, have died on the spot, while 4 people have sustained injuries, and in that 2 women who had critical injuries also succumbed, one on Friday and one on Saturday, bringing the death toll to 3 by Salim.
Belly, stay on with me. Now, in another update on the Mysore Palace blast, the balloon vendor has now been identified as 40-year-old Salim. Remember, a helium cylinder exploded near Mysore Palace on Christmas, killing balloon vendor Salim and injuring 5 visitors. So now, Belly, there's a new update on this. What more can you tell us?
So this incident happened at around 8:30 at the Jaya Martanda gate of the Mysore Palace, one of the gates wherein the tourists throng to have a glimpse of this palace, which would be lit at that time during the night times. And that is the very gate where this balloon seller, who has been identified by the police to be Salim, a native of Uttar Pradesh, has come for his livelihood to Mysuru, and he was eking out a living selling balloons and other paraphernalia.
All right, Belly, stay on with me. I have Shankar Bijri, former DGP from Karnataka, joining me. Now, Mr. Bijri, the question really is, we're talking about this, of course, this blast that has taken place. Do you think there's been a certain lapse and necessary precautions that were not taken?
Good afternoon. Really, I cannot believe that a ordinary balloon can kill 3 persons, a balloon blast. There must be something. Now that NIA has taken over the investigation and visited the spot, let the truth come out. But in the ordinary course, a balloon which is generally sold to children for playing cannot cause the death of 3 persons. Small balloon, how can it cause the death of 3 persons? It's really strange, and it has to be investigated in detail. Let us await for the result of the investigation.
You know, Mr. Bidari, another important point is that initial reports had indicated helium as the cause of the explosion. But now sources are also saying that the vendor was mixing caustic soda with water to generate the gas required to fill the balloons.
Definitely there is something unusual, but without detailed information and investigation being complete, we cannot come to conclusion. Certainly it was not a ordinary balloon. A balloon blast cannot kill 3 persons. That too, such balloons which are sold to children for playing, really there is something missing and something serious is there. Let the investigation be completed.
Mr. Bidari, now what are your suggestions so that such vendors don't do these things which should not be done? Any suggestions that you have?
No, normally, you see, we cannot blame the police for that. In front of every place of worship or in every jatra, in front of every place of tourist interest, balloons and so many other toy things are always sold. Now that it has opened a different aspect, now onwards they will be careful. Now onwards they can check the vendors and check the quality of the balloons, etc. But now it is not correct to hold police for responsible, or we cannot say that police lapse is there.
All right, Mr. Bidari, thank you for joining me on the broadcast. And the investigation is going on into the deceased balloon vendor Salim after the Mysuru cylinder blast near the Amba Vilas Palace. While Salim was initially thought to be from Kolkata, new information has emerged that reveals he was actually from Uttar Pradesh. Salim, along with his brothers, has arrived in Mysore and has been staying at Sharif Lodge in the Lashkar Mohalla area for the past 15 days. Belly, new details have emerged. What more can you tell us?